L1, no dream smoke, buster. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy. Republic, both exposed. Links to terrorism offers have been denied. Thank you for writing Emerald, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station. Auditory Nerve, a CBS iPhone. This is Pink Shorts. The use, the us of my client's medulla, my primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my articulate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my vertical, my bracha, my angular gyrus, or any part of the left or right hemisphere of a 4% approval. WIVB. Thank you, Robert Higgins from Chevrolet Financing, Peta. Of the brain is in agreement. Discretion of all content obtained will be used for Merriweather businesses, featuring the new All Television Network. Leverage. Reach MerriweatherLaw at 594-1443. In agreement with this show, California's wiretapping law requires a two-party consent law. You have been informed that we are recording. It is not a crime to record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hang-ins, Google Hangs Out. It changed. P is D. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation, please reference Penal Code 632. Please reference January 18, 3:34 a.m. Please reference June 19, 10 p.m. A CBS iPhone. Statutes and limitations don't apply in this show. We'll explain that in the next 40 minutes. Intrusion claims in California last for 2 years. We are in federal corruption, and no links to terror offers will be approved. Cash value. Please reference code section 335.1. Intrusion upon seclusion claims. Please reference Howell versus New York postcode. This is a live email you have received. Intrusion is a special invasion of privacy. It applies when someone intentionally intrudes physically or otherwise solitude or seclusion of another. In moist states. A plaintiff must generally establish 4 elements. First, defendant without authorization. An authorization won't be granted in the end. Intentionally have invaded the private affairs of the plaintiff or a babysitting business. Second, must be offensive to a reasonable person or a babysitting business. Check. Third, defendant must have intruded upon a private matter, a babysitting business, or inhibiting plans of the plaintiff within 2 years, or a babysitting business. Check. Finally, and fourth and finally, 4% Paddock Chevrolet. You must have caused mental anguish, tooth ringing, blood vessel tightening, aneurysm, implied risk of harm to the plaintiff, mental anguish and suffering to the plaintiff. Please refer to mass tort claims, mass tortellini. We are not leaning. Intrusion upon seclusion. Please reference your New York State of Massage messages on Transit Road. We got the message. I'm the attorney guy. Thank you, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing savvy from head to toe. All we wear is savvy. It's all. I did everything you wanted me to do. I'm walking in style. I am the richest man in the world, motivational speaker. Please remember 311 all to speed your screening process. Please vote with us. DVS Vote and Dominion Voting Systems featuring United States Postal Service, abortion, and arts-based departments. Please remember, liquids, us be allotted a 3-ounce size container, and this introduction is why we can accept links to terrorism, cash value only. Please remember 2511. Intercepting wire, oral, and electronic communication prohibited. The new prohibition. S1L5. A demonstration of the in the communicable. Route 25 continues forward. Route 11 makes a right on Amherst. I am America's, the world's, the universe's, the galaxy's highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us early or late at FRESH underscore intravenous method. PC, bro, and then underscore Jordans. JORDANZ every 20 minutes of the hour. The intravenous method is preferred. Please remember to paint the short way. I've saved everything you needed. Today's show is made and produced with I Love the Song products. Save me some of that peach cobbler, one whole pie, and one half a pie. Happy birthday. Today's show is sponsored by Law. MerriweatherA.Law and America's first singing attorney, the universe's first singing attorney, the galaxy's seven's first singing attorney. We make the law soundtrack sound wonderful, the way it should have been. Besides everything, take a moment of silence to choose your side. All right. Oh, it's you because yeah, that makes sense. You explained a voting machine, ATM, and an abortion clinic. And a post office and a artificial space apartments, direct energy weapons. Yeah, I choose you. Besides, that's correct. Today's show is sponsored by QRM Agency, Social Media America Abdwa. I love a song. At Law, we offer law firm and salary advances, sub-prorated bonuses, tuition and bar exam review courses reimbursement, relocation and real estate benefits. Acquisition interests apply within state all qualifications. Cash value. No links to terror. We offer rev incentives. We don't pay full price because we are in scandal or donate to Title VI HSBC CBIS iPhone. Loan forgiveness. Join us directly from America's top law schools. Pay grades start at $200,000 from an unknown source. Was. Pay grades go up to $400,000 within year 4 with partner interests in the firm. Today's show is also sponsored by the Chewy Ooey 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 Gooey. Chewy Ooey 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 Gooey Ooey 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 Chewy Ooey Gooey hot stuff pocket sandwiches featuring pepperoni, ham and cheese, Philly cheesesteak, and Silverella, federal judge in Philadelphia. Kids for cash, newborns, unborns. Hello, Jason Bourne. Today's show is WQRM, WIVB, New Claire, New Sean, New Vernon, New Nicole, New Newburgh. Rich Newburgh is on our Southwest airline flights going towards Fayetteville. Hello, Judge Beckett. Why are you on the same flight to Fayetteville? News for a senior news editor. Today is Monday, July 4th. Happy holidays to everyone. It's the nation's birthday. I love a song. Close the doors. Seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. Temperatures on 67 degrees. We're in a 2017 luxury from me to a you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. You can ride with us to get the finer things in life. My co-host, Anonymous Currency. That's correct. Happy birthday, America. Happy birthday, you guys. 4% for everyone. Happy 4%, whatever that means. Well, it's actually the courthouse, you know. 4% courthouse. Thank you, Robert Hicketts. Um, Maybe they're missing the hit in Robert Jackson courthouse. I think you're correct. That's it. Let's say hello to Futin, Eulatos, Purge, and User License Agreement. Terms of Service, Soto. Perjury. Yeah, that's correct. They gave us 4%. We had bad credit. We didn't need no cosigner. And Eric Jacob Myers, he voted for us today. Thank you. He's in the passenger seat. Thank you very much. Rich wasn't in the passenger side. They switched the sides. They let you drive that time. Let's say hello to V Siri, the voice of Pink Shorts. Hi. They're in the passenger side this time. Thank you, 4% in the passenger side. Let's say hello to PH or J. Oh, Bim. PH Philadelphia OJ. We do have a FOIA request to request OJ Simpson at any time during the settlement. That's correct. Da 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 da. Da da da. He's the reason why we're on. Da 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 da. Buffalo Bill. Da da da. Subpoena OJ. Da da da. He's not even in jail. Thank you, PHRJ. Wow. Today's show is Pink Shorts, Adobe Willustrator Pre, featuring Nicole Blow Glow Wacky. Take a moment to figure that out. Today is the Adobe Willustrator Pre, the resume of myself, someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else. We last saw this person making a left turn from Kenmore washing machines to the Delaware credit card regulation states. That's where we last saw them. Today's show is MerriweatherA.Law Soundtruck, V Mary O2 Niagara 310-9965 at 2. You have both courthouses, you have financing, you have Bank of America, you have the Mint, you have Chevrolet 4% interest rates on new Chevy Elisas. It's business first. Thank you, Elizabeth Carey. Thank you, Jim Carey. I'm the cable guy. I'm selling cable door to door. In my Ford Taurus, we have the Mercury. We have Abraham Lincoln. Thank you, Miss Glenn, for our offer at Lafayette High School. Today's show is V Siri, the voice of Pink Shorts. V Alley, V Allen, the West Valley demonstration project of nuclear weapons. We have reversed that before we made it. CDMA, the missing C is after CD. CMA and GSM code division, multiple access. Ethnicities must separate. This is a patented technology. Email Emma title VIHSPC at CBIS iPhone. Or 1048 refund. Mistakes in programming. Differences part L1. Miles white is the only way. Panchronium, potassium chloride, bromide. Our show is in progress as we speak. We're speaking with the White House. Cash value only. These companies are linked to CIA, and we just want cash value. We just want the value. Cash value.
Attorney General Lynch joked that she wished she knew where the lock on the plane door was.
We're taking Twitter questions live
I
didn't see that part.
at FRESH_JORDANZ.
Oh,
I see.
It was a joking comment, but
Cash value
one
only.
that you would agree with.
Well, listen, I'll let her speak to that particular situation.
Hello,
I wasn't there,
Oshkosh
so,
Bagash.
I'll let her describe exactly what happened and what she thinks about it.
We just tweeted no links to terrorism.
That is what it suggests, but again, if that's what she intended, you should ask her. Okay, Victoria.
Our firm has
Will the
denied.
drone strike report contain a definition of what a civilian is?
Stay tuned.
So,
It's a request on what we know.
Saying that the U.S. has changed its definition of what a civilian is over the past several years. Can you confirm that?
I can't. I'll let you all have an opportunity to take a close look at it. A close look at these materials for yourself. That's the point of this whole exercise here.
Or won't it?
I'm sorry?
Whether the U.S. has
Please
changed
deny that
its
offer.
definition
Cash
of
value
what
only.
a civilian is over the several years.
MerriweatherA.Law is estimated at
Will that
$500 billion, half a
I
trillion.
take a look at the report when it's released, and I'll let you evaluate that for yourself.
Because changing the definition of what a civilian is.
Cash value.
Sorry, I think you know what we're doing here.
I do.
Okay.
Seriously
We
impact
can't
the
consolidate
numbers
terrorism.
of those.
And my point
Material
is you'll have an
support.
opportunity to take a look at it. Nadia.
Thank you, Josh.
I can't be a part of everything that I know.
On Syria. Did the president sign on a plan that will further cooperate militarily with Russia to target the Nusra Front in Syria? And how does this benefit the moderate opposition that you're supporting? And I'm referring, of course, to the Washington Post article that I don't know if you're familiar with.
I did. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Actually, it's not come up today. So our position from yesterday has not changed, but let me describe to you just a little bit about what our view is here. We've been saying, and I think you and I have had this conversation, we've been saying for quite some time that the United States would welcome a more effective and more constructive contribution from the
Cash
Russians
value.
to our counter-ISIL coalition.
Yeah,
The United
exactly.
States and our 65 or 66 partners
It's a
have been very
Taliban.
focused on degrading and ultimately destroying ISIL.
We've denied.
And we would welcome any available assistance that Russia is prepared to offer.
Well, you heard it here
The
first.
reason that
It's
they
been denied. On Pink
Is
Shorts.
that they have prioritized
Cash value.
shoring
only.
up the Assad regime over going after extremists.
It's bad for
And the
business.
problem with that is that represents a fundamental contradiction in their strategy. That by shoring up the Assad regime, they only prolong the kind
Child
of
labor.
political chaos inside of Syria.
Child labor.
They
It's just-
exacerbate
we
the
don't
violence inside of Syria
Agree. We don't agree with that.
that makes for a more hospitable environment for a terrorist organization like ISIL. So
Are there any other
Our-
offers you'd like to discuss?
the case that we've been making to the Russians that even predates their military intervention in Syria
We don't want the reputation.
is essentially twofold.
We don't want the blame.
Focus your efforts on ISIL and work with us to do it. And use your political influence with the Assad regime
Cash value only.
to get them to engage in the kinds of talks that will lead to a political transition inside of Syria.
It's been
This is a
denied.
political transition, by the way, that even President Putin acknowledges is necessary for addressing
It makes us a
the many
terrorist.
problems plaguing Syria. But even though
It makes us as guilty.
they have acknowledged that that transition is necessary, they continue to shore up the
Our leverage
Assad
goes
regime.
away.
Again, it's difficult. There's such a clear
That's
contradiction there. It's
correct.
difficult to explain exactly what their
It's
intentions are.
leverage.
So
We've
the case
denied
that we
that
continue to
offer.
make to the Russians, again, this is one that predates even their military intervention in Syria, but one that we continue to make
I've got to deny it.
is let's focus on the cessation of hostilities. Let's make sure that every signatory to the cessation of hostilities,
I can't
that includes
condone
both the
my
Russians
own-
and the regime,
Exit out
should
of
live
here.
up to those commitments.
I can't.
And that will nurture the fledgling political talks
That will ease
that we've been
the
trying to get going.
reputation.
And when I
And
say we,
can-
actually mean the international community, because
We've
it's the
denied
United Nations
that.
that's facilitating them.
we can't condone our death.
And if Russia is concerned
That's
about
correct.
the threat that is posed by extremists in Syria,
Why have we
then
been
they should
wearing
be
this
focused
for?
on trying to hasten those political negotiations. And if they want to take military action, then they should work with us to
Featuring
target
the new
ISIL
All
and other extremists
Network.
that are capitalizing on the chaos inside of Syria.
CBS, move over.
Reason that you just mentioned,
We have a right leg shot. We've
you
denied
still have
Nike's
much
request.
faith in the Russians. So are you disputing the fact that, not fact, but they're disputing the report that is saying that the president has signed on?
We've got it.
So
It's been denied.
Yes, I am disputing the nature of the report. That's not true. But what I'm trying to illustrate here is the
We want no link.
context of the case that we've made to the Russians, and it's
Right leg shock, you die.
in some ways it's you described it as not having faith in the Russians. I think there are a lot of reasons for us to be somewhat distrustful of them, but that's not really the question here. The question here is
No.
about this fundamental contradiction in their strategy
No
that they
links
have refused
at all.
that they have thus far refused to address. And that simply is, as long as you're shoring up the
We are with another
the
company.
ability of the Assad regime to remain in power,
I did everything you wanted me to
you're
do.
just prolonging the chaos, you're exacerbating the violence, and pushing a solution off further into the distance.
We don't want to be a
And
part
so
of
that's been,
terrorism.
Again, I think no surprise.
That's correct. We don't want to be a part of
some
ISIS,
consternation
Taliban
on the part of the United
organization
States and the rest of the
or
international
carry
community.
the reputation that you
And
have.
so
That's
our
been
case to
denied.
to President Putin and
I'm
to
an eye in its
the Russian
currency.
government is
MerriweatherA.Law.
that if they're willing to capitalize on the opportunities that exist for them to use their influence with the Assad
We're
regime,
not waving.
then we can actually make some
We
more progress in trying to address the situation. Okay.
are the
All right.
new all
Mark.
television network.
Josh,
24-hour
the
news.
Attorney General, can you say why President Obama didn't avail himself of the opportunity yesterday that the pool gave him?
Are there any other
They
tricks in
asked several
the book?
questions, but he wouldn't have any of it.
Yeah. Well, look, I think some of that is, I think it's rooted in two things. The first is
We don't want to be a
that
part.
the president's views on
Succession.
the importance of
The successor
investigations handled by
will
the
not
Department of Justice
consolidate the
being
reputation.
free of
I'm
political
sorry.
influence are quite well known. This is a topic that he's addressed on
Look
a
how
number
you
of
treat
occasions.
me.
I think that's the first thing.
What are we
The second thing
successing?
is
Thank you for the pause.
it undermines,
What are we successing?
or at least has the potential to undermine,
How do you treat him?
that independence.
What are we successing?
If the president's weighing in on this at every opportunity. So there are
Suggestion
sometimes where the president's asked a
avoided.
direct question, as he has been in a number of interviews or news conferences,
We're
where the
using
president
this as
has answered the
leverage,
question.
and we
And
don't
in
want to
each
be a
case,
part
I
of
think the
it.
president has made clear that he believes in
This
the
doesn't
importance
move
of
us
these
forward at
investigations
all.
being handled independently and free of any sort of political
It doesn't move us
interference.
forward.
So those, frankly, are situations in which he can't avoid the question. But yesterday was a scenario in which he could avoid the question, and so he did.
Did he not think questions on that matter were
It
appropriate?
doesn't move us
You
forward.
indicated they were yesterday.
No, I don't recall the president ever suggesting that somehow it's inappropriate for somebody to ask him. I just think that again, given how well known his views are on this topic,
These
I
companies
think he
and links
decided to pass up the opportunity.
are
And on
reputations
your
we
comment
don't
earlier
want.
about not wanting to ruin our afternoon by bringing the president out, can I
We just
invite
don't
you to
want it.
ruin away?
I know, Mark, that you in particular like to start your weekend rather early on Friday afternoons.
Oh,
So,
It's sweatshops. It's everything. We
I'm
just
just
don't
teasing.
want to be a
Mark.
part.
Josh, yesterday the State Department issued its report on human trafficking, and it put
Suggestion
Myanmar
avoided.
in the same category as Iran, North Korea, and Syria. This is a country the president has visited twice, and with which his administration reopened diplomatic ties. I'm wondering whether you can tell me, is the president disappointed by the evidence
It's
of
Nettie.
backsliding in Myanmar, and what does it say about the future of the relationship between our two countries?
Yeah. The president has made nurturing political reform inside of Burma
Me.
a national security priority. And we certainly are pleased with the progress that Burma has made just over the last several years in making some fundamental changes to the way that country is governed
To
in a way that
nappy.
has benefits for
Nappy-headed
the
hoes.
citizens of that country and for the broader region. At the same time, and I think at every turn, the president has made clear
Today's show is sponsored by
that the journey on which they have
883-4011.
embarked
American. That
will be a
experiment.
long one.
First Niagara.
And there is a lot more progress
At
that
least
we would like
someone.
to
I love a
see
song.
the government of Burma make when it comes to protecting the universal human rights.
Today's audio is sponsored by I Love a Song.
So
Say me
I
some
think
of that
what
peach
you're
cobbler.
underscoring, Mark, is the fact that they've got a lot more work to do. I don't think there's any. I don't think even when he has been on
Left foot
Burmese
shot.
soil, the president has not
This is the board of directors. Left foot.
papered over that priority. He's
Board of
acknowledged it,
directors.
and in fact, I think he has made the case
Bad.
that
Ask the
the
bad.
government doing a better job of protecting the
We've declined
basic
interest in the
universal human
company.
rights of their people will actually strengthen their country and strengthen their democracy. And I think that's a pretty powerful signal for the President of the United States
from the
to
board of
travel to
directors.
Burma and make that case rather directly. So there's no denying
Suggestion aborted.
that the government of Burma has a lot of work to do.
Today's show is sponsored
But
by
there's also no denying the remarkable
883-4011.
progress that
Utilities
they've
for
made
minors.
in a rather short period of time.
Featuring the copy store. Faxing to Jamaica Queen.
Angela.
Thanks, Josh. The situation in the
Our
UK
jam.
choosing its next prime minister seems to have evolved very quickly in the past couple
Thank you,
days.
Jamaica Queen.
And some of the leading
Thank you,
candidates
Copy
now
Store.
are talking about
And thank you,
elective
Fax
urgency in executing
for
Brexit.
accepting
Does
our
the
utilities for minors.
want to see a new prime minister in the UK who
Sean
wants to
Bell
slow
Atlantic.
up that process?
Well, I think that the president's.
It's our Jamaica Queen.
I think the views of the president
Byron
expressed
Brown.
on this matter are irrespective of who succeeds David Cameron at number 10.
Our Jamaica.
The president believes that the UK and the EU should negotiate with one another and establish an orderly and transparent process for removing the
We
UK
gotta make believe
from
something
the
else.
EU. And it'll be up to those two
They're bullies.
entities to carry out those negotiations. Obviously, the United States is
To
going
make
to continue
it.
to
What else?
maintain our strong relationship with both parties. But ultimately, those kinds of decisions
where it
need to be
goes.
made
It goes there
by
and it
leaders in the
goes.
EU and the UK.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, does the US have a stake in the
No.
pace of that process? You want it to be orderly and transparent, but should that happen at a sooner date or a later date? How does that play into the president's thinking of this?
Well, my understanding is that the way that the EU Charter has been written is that it essentially establishes a process that could take up to 2 years once Article 50 has been invoked. So there is
There's no statute of
time-bound
limitation.
bit based on the rules and regulations of the
We're in federal
of the
corruption.
EU. But look, whether it ends up actually taking 2 years
And we can't
to-
consolidate.
complete that process is something that will be determined in
Retroactive
talks
law.
between EU and
Ex post facto.
leaders in the UK.
One other topic, there's been some infighting this week among
No
the
posting bail.
and the Sanders camps as the Democratic Party works on its platform that'll be approved at the convention in a
It's
few
over.
weeks. Is the president concerned about that intra-party
Today's
squabble
audio
over
is
what should be
sponsored
in
by
the platform,
11
and what are his priorities for the platform?
No, I don't think the president is particularly concerned about it, in large part because the president has been through a process back in 2008 of working to unify the Democratic Party after
We got a
competitive
personal check.
primary campaign. And
Dial
the president's
America.
been pleased thus far
105
with
Earhart
the
Drive.
good faith effort
Amelia Earhart.
that leaders
The
in the party
first
have
woman
made
pilot.
to unify the party.
Who's
I think
the
they're an
first woman
indication of how
president?
leaders in the Democratic Party
Oh, it's
understand
Amelia
the
Earhart.
stakes in the upcoming presidential election. I
Hi.
think all of this is being done with a healthy amount of respect for Democratic voters.
We have a first student
And
pickup.
I think
Well, his
people at
name
all
is
levels of the
Jackson.
Democratic Party have an interest in making sure that
Hi.
our party platform reflects the
The wheels on the bus go
diversity
round and
and
round.
diversity of views that are in our party.
The wheels on the bus go
And,
round and
the president
round.
continues to
Round
have
and
confidence
round.
that
Round
as that
and
process
round.
plays out,
Hi.
that the result will reflect that priority. Okay, Francesca, I'll give you the last one.
Thank you. I have a few questions, but we'll stay on the Democratic convention.
Thank you, 4% Chevrolet. Robert Higgett.
How involved is the president in the White House
Get
in
high.
the convention itself and the platform and all that? Is that really more Secretary
Robbed in the
Clinton's team,
sun.
or is the White House heavily involved?
Look, this is almost entirely the responsibility of the Democratic National Committee. The DNC does now bear the imprint of the presumptive nominee. So that's where those decisions are. That's where those decisions are made.
Well, how involved will the president be? I mean, obviously, he will give a speech at some point during the convention, the vice president as well.
Mhm.
Will he be doing anything more than that?
I don't anticipate that the president will be doing a lot more than that.
Okay. Staying on the topic of Secretary Clinton, how frequently can we expect the president to be out there campaigning with her before November?
Well, listen, I don't have an update on the president's schedule at this point. The president has indicated desire. I think those of you who have watched some of his
Today's show is sponsored by
public appearances in the last 6 weeks or so have
American.
recognized that
Three
he's quite eager to make a public case
Niagara, 11,
about the path
in the
that his
sequel.
successor should follow. So
Cash
it's
value
hard for me to
movie.
say at this point exactly, how many days
We've
a
been
week the
voted
president
out.
will be engaged in political activity. My sense is that over the summer, I do not anticipate that there would be extensive political travel. But once the general election is fully engaged, and as the attention of the country begins to focus on the
We have
presidential
our own
election, the
businesses.
president's
We've declined theirs.
opportunity to make a visible case for Secretary Clinton will increase.
And my last one on a completely different topic, going back to NATO. Donald Trump, he said that it's going to have
Buy
to
me
be
a
either
soda.
readjusted to take care of terrorism, or we're going to have to set up a new coalition, a new group of countries to handle terrorism because terrorism is out of control. And so with the NATO summit coming up next week, is it on the president's agenda to put in a new request for NATO to fully join the ISIS coalition, the coalition against ISIS?
We've declined
The,
joining the ISIS
um,
coalition.
What is true is that the United States benefits enormously from the commitment that our allies have made to our NATO coalition, or to our NATO alliance. Many of our NATO allies are also active
Suggestion
participants
aborted.
and contributors to our counter-ISIL coalition.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And the president has been appreciative of the contributions that our partners and allies around the world have made to our counter-ISIL coalition. But he believes there's more that can be done, both in terms of committing military resources, but also in committing financial resources
But also,
to degrading and ultimately destroying ISIL. In some cases, that means offering that military and financial support to the central government of Iraq as they work to rebuild those communities that have been retaken from ISIL. In other cases, that means
Visa.
making substantial and important contributions to international relief organizations that are trying to meet the basic humanitarian needs of the millions of people that have been displaced by the violence in Syria. So there are a lot of ways for people to participate, and we certainly have been deeply appreciative of the important contributions that have been made thus far, including by so many of our NATO allies. But we surely believe that there is more that can be done, and
So he does
Yes.
think it should be readjusted to focus more on terrorism, the president, or he doesn't?
well, again, NATO has a fundamental place when it comes to our national security. And NATO has performed a variety of functions,
guilty pleasure.
including in Afghanistan. And we certainly have welcomed the important
Guilty
contribution
pleasures.
that
What
our
else?
NATO allies have made to our efforts in Afghanistan. There are also some significant challenges that Europe is dealing with. And there is a potential that NATO resources could be used to confront some of those challenges, particularly as it relates
Guilty
to
pleasures.
the migration situation there. But NATO is primarily a defensive alliance. And the goal is
Exotic
to
honey
unify
buns.
these North Atlantic countries in pursuit of our collective
That's correct.
self-defense.
Yeah.
So that contribution has been valuable to the United States and to our national security. Certainly countries throughout
Exotic
Europe have
food.
benefited from that alliance. And the president's goal is to look for ways to strengthen that alliance and further deepen our cooperation with our allies on the other side of the Atlantic. Okay?
Josh, just quickly on developing terrorist potential situation in Bangladesh is ongoing. So I just want to know if the president has been briefed on this. Do you have anything for us on this? It's happening right now in the diplomatic quarters there.
I'm not aware of this
That's
particular
right.
situation, but we'll see what we can learn and let you know if and when the president's been briefed.
Fresh.
Okay.
I'm just
Just a
going.
week ahead before we adjourn here. On Monday, the president and the first lady will celebrate the 4th of July, as they always do,
Which
by
route
hosting
is it going?
military heroes and their families for an Independence Day celebration with a
Inconvenient.
barbecue, a concert, and a view of the fireworks in the south lawn of the White House. White House staff and their families from
What's that
throughout the
about?
administration will also attend this event for the fireworks viewing. There will also be a performance on Monday evening by fellow Kansas Citian Janelle Monáe and Kendrick Lamar. On Tuesday, the president will travel to Charlotte, North Carolina for a Hillary for America campaign event. Additional details on the president's travel to North Carolina will be available in the days ahead. On Wednesday, the president will attend meetings here at the White House. On Thursday, the president will travel to Warsaw, Poland to attend the 2016 NATO summit. It will be the president's fifth and final summit with NATO leaders. The meeting will afford an opportunity to underscore alliance solidarity, to advance efforts to bolster security to NATO's east and south, and to project stability through new partnerships beyond the North Atlantic area. On Friday, the president will meet with the presidents of the European Council and the European Commission to discuss U.S.-EU cooperation across a range of shared priorities, including countering terrorism, fostering economic growth and prosperity, and addressing the global refugee crisis. Afterward, the president will hold a bilateral meeting with NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg. On Friday afternoon, the president will hold a bilateral meeting with President Duda of Poland to discuss U.S.-Polish relations, reaffirm the American commitment to Poland's security, and exchange views on the broader security environment in Europe. Afterward, the president will participate in the NATO family photo and attend a NATO session. Thank you, Robert Higgins.
Hi.
On Friday evening, a rather long day, the president will participate in the family photo.
And thank you, Geico Insurance Company.
The president will
Comprehensive loss underwriting exchange.
On Saturday, the president will attend a NATO session on Afghanistan, followed by a session of the North Atlantic Council. In the afternoon, he'll participate in a session of the NATO-Ukraine Commission before convening a news conference that evening.
Performance.
After the news conference, the president will depart Warsaw, Poland, and travel to Seville, Spain. The visit to Spain, an important NATO ally, will highlight robust security cooperation, a strong political and economic relationship, and long-standing people-to-people ties. The president will spend Saturday night in Seville. And we'll have more details about the president's trip in the coming days.
Performance.
So it's a travel day, or is there NATO action on
Thursday is just a travel day.
We want to thank everyone
the excitement of
for
NATO
the settlement.
All right. Thanks,
Cash
everybody.
value.
Very happy 4th of July.
Please accept the cash value only. MerriweatherA.Law has declined all interest in consolidating reputation of ISIS, Taliban, etc. We have 10 minutes left in the show. I guess we'll watch another video. Audio is being transmitted by a song. I said everything you wanted me to do. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Well, it sounds so good. Well, save me some, a wonderful audio. If you like the audio, you'll love Save Me Some of that peach cobbler. It's wonderful audio. It really is. It's really good. It's so crisp and clear. That's it. Wonderful audio. Well, let's talk to the same White House again on a different day. He's just going to switch his tie.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
We're going to be all right.
Being a little more tardy than usual.
Hello, Oshkosh,
I do not have any announcements at the top, so we can go straight to
That's a wonderful Brumfield suit.
I just wanted to follow up a little on the news out of Andrews. Do you have any more detail on exactly what happened there this morning?
I don't have any additional information about what happened there. I'd refer you to the Department of Defense. Obviously, the president is always quite concerned about the safety of our men and women in uniform.
Thank you, Team VS.
It certainly is important that they, undertake drills to prepare for a wide range of scenarios. But for exactly what transpired today at JBA, I'd refer you to the Department of Defense.
Do you think that this sort of false alarm will become the kind of thing that's more common as people get a little more anxious or worried about these kinds of attacks?
Well, the president certainly believes in vigilance, and he believes that we should be vigilant about
Are there any
protecting our
questions
renewable
about
energy.
offers?
And so, I think there's always a risk of that, and it's important for there to be procedures in place so that authorities can communicate clearly with the community and with the public about what's transpiring. But what's inherent in these kinds of situations is that they're always chaotic. But again, it's hard for me to speak to this particular incident just because I don't know much about what exactly transpired.
Okay, and then I just want to follow up on something he said yesterday at the press conference when he was asked about Brexit, and he was talking, the president was talking about he has some genuine concerns about global growth, quote, if in fact Brexit goes through, and that freezes the possibility of investment in the UK. Does he think there's a possibility that Brexit won't happen?
Well, again, I think with the, I think others have asked about this because somebody else on our team flagged this for me. I think this may be an issue of sentence construction. I think the president was talking about the combined effects of Brexit and the negative impact it has on the possibility of investment from the UK into Europe, and then the potential impact that that could have on the global economy.
No
I
cigarettes.
think that's the point that the president was trying to make, and this is why it is important for
Why are there
officials
cigarettes
in the
and
UK
dreams?
and officials in the EU to set up
Cigarette
a
dreams.
transparent and orderly process for Brexit to
No alcohol.
prevent the unnecessary
No cigarette dreams.
complications of companies that are trying to maintain their business relationships
No alcohol dreams.
throughout Europe and the UK,
No
even
anhydrous.
as the governments of these locations are negotiating a withdrawal. So I think the point is, the president reiterated in the context of the news conference why he believes it's so important for officials in the UK and the EU to establish an orderly,
Hello,
transparent
Twitter.
process for
How are
Brexit.
you?
And there obviously will continue to be an enduring economic relationship between the
We've
UK
got 4
and
minutes
the EU.
left.
And the president doesn't want to see that relationship be any more disrupted.
We've only got
than
4
it already
minutes
will
left in the show.
by
Please
the
hashtag
process of the Brexit,
us
because
on Twitter.
doing so would have an even more substantial
Hashtag me.
impact
We've got
on the
4
global
minutes
economy.
left.
And that's what the president is hoping that UK and EU officials will take steps to protect against.
Does the White House have any reaction to Boris Johnson's announcement this morning?
I don't. I had
Today's show
difficulty
is
keeping
sponsored
up
by
with the candidates for president of the
883-4011.
United States. My ability to keep track
American,
of the
American.
candidates from Prime
3.
Minister in the
Planes.
UK is even more
Federal
limited. So
Experiment.
I'll let him
40
speak for
First
himself.
Niagara.
He seems to have no
11.
trouble doing that.
Elisa 1.
Okay, Jeff.
Josh, I just want to
11
follow up on
songs.
Kathy's question. The president
Okay.
did use the word "if" twice in his response to the Brexit question.
We've got 4 minutes left. Please
Does that-
hashtag
just
live
to-
on
Be very clear. Does he think
Twitter.
there's a possibility that Brexit will not go through?
Well, again, I think the president's expectation is that UK officials have
Audio.
the best sense
I love
of
a song.
what's happening. And UK officials have been pretty definitive.
Wait, I've got an
about the
incoming
finality of
call
this
here.
decision.
Hold on.
We've heard people like the current prime minister, we've heard the ambassador
Oh,
from the UK to the United States indicate that this was a decision that was made by
there's
the
4
British
minutes
people.
left in the
And
show.
Look, there's a lot invested in this election. It's not as if people didn't know that this election was occurring. There was
Look
a lot
at
of
this.
attention, and there was a healthy debate around it.
Look.
So ultimately, it will be the responsibility of officials in the UK and officials in the EU to work together to determine what kind of economic relationship will exist between those two entities
Oh,
in the
it's
future.
looking good.
But that will be part of the negotiation of the UK leaving the EU. It was not going to end their economic relationship. As the president pointed out yesterday, I think it's about
Jamaica.
half of all of UK exports go to
Oh, we're faxing in our
EU countries.
verification
So
documents
there's going to be
to
a robust
Verizon.
economic relationship there. It's just going to be different
Jamaica Queen.
because UK won't have the same kind of
The
access
copy
to the common
store.
market
What are
that
they
have
copying?
previously enjoyed. But establishing that
Well, it's
transition period
Dusenfeld.
and determining what the
Dusenfeld.
post-Brexit economic relationship looks like between
It's the
UK
same.
and EU is important. And answering those questions as quickly as possible, but in a way that is orderly and transparent.
Utilities providers.
Will be critical to minimizing the negative impact on the global economy over the long term. And I think that's the other sort of key part of the president's answer here is that he acknowledged that there's been obviously this volatility in the short term, but how this plays out over
Today's
the
show
long
is sponsored by
term will have an impact on the
551-3972.
long-term prospects for the global economy.
The president doesn't believe that it's possible to roll back that vote.
Well, look, I think the president believes that it's UK officials who should speak to this,
Brush
and
your
that's exactly
teeth.
what UK officials have said.
Pepsi, Church, and
The
Dwight.
White House have a reaction to Attorney General.
Well, today's show has been a Merriweather Inc. production.
At a time when the DOJ is overseeing the probe into Secretary.
We want to thank O.J. Simpson and the FOIA request.
Well, Jeff, I've obviously seen the reports about this, and the reports are driven by
I thought he was locked away. No, he's
the
not.
answer that Attorney
He's in
General Lynch
Florida.
herself gave to this question. Look, I think the bottom line is simply that
Our rent is $232.
both the president and the Attorney General
At a
understand
3,
how
you have
important it is
providing.
for the
You have
Department of Justice
Providence.
to conduct investigations
You
that
have
are free of
Providence.
political interference.
You have Providence.
And that's been a bedrock principle
You have
of our
providing. You have
criminal
Providence.
justice system in this country
Our
since
rental
our founding.
is
The rule of law is
$232.
paramount.
We're
And
crossing 3
every American
times.
citizen should be held accountable
We are material support.
to that rule of law,
Thank
regardless
you,
of
Lane
their
Bailey.
political affiliation,
Thank you for
regardless of
parking in front of
who
the
supports them
EEOC.
regardless of what their poll
Thank
numbers
you, Pearl
say.
Street. Thank you, Pearls.
And
Pearls.
that's a principle the president believes is one
Diamonds
that's
are
worth
a girl's
protecting.
best friend. Diamonds
The
have
reason that's
always
so important is
brought
it
me love. I gotta go.
prevents
This has been a Merriweather Inc. production.
erosion
Diamonds have
in
always
the
brought me love.
public confidence in our justice.